M19, parents keep telling me I'm selfish about my finances. Hello, this is my first post on this subreddit, so excuse any misformatting and such. Anyways, I am a full-time college student working a $16 part-time job, 10 to 15 hours a week, as a barista since I was in high school. I stream on Twitch on the side to make some extra cash, and in 2 to 3 years time hope to earn my bachelor's degree in finance/accounting. Ever since COVID-19 happened, I've been able to apply for unemployment since around March or so, and I've accrued 10k in unemployment that I've put aside in a savings account that I have no specific plans for yet, but I'm hoping I can use that money to buy a car or move out of my parents' house. I used to live on campus at my college, but COVID also forced me to move back in as well. I wouldn't say that I am the most well-off college student, but I've definitely been a lot better about saving my money since I was in high school, putting around 50 to 60% of any income I receive into a savings account that my parents can't look at. Unfortunately, I made my Chase checkings account with my mom before I was 18, so she has been able to monitor my checking account, even to this day. I tried unlinking our account a couple days ago, but the bank told me that she would have to personally go to the bank herself and unlink it, which doesn't seem possible since she works a 9-to-5 job at home, and I feel that she still wants control of my bank account. Now here's where the issue starts. My parents bought a house last year that I believe is a bit out of their price budget. The mortgage is around 500k, and since they have been able to see how much money I've been getting from streaming, unemployment, and my part-time job, they've been starting to ask me for money. She also bought a relatively new car around 25k last year. In a span of a month and a half, I've already given them around 2k after, what I believe, was being guilt-tripped into doing so. They call me selfish for not helping out around the house when I've been getting money from the government that I didn't technically earn, and told me they've done so much for me. Christmas, taking care of me when I was younger, mom working overtime for me, feeding me. My mom didn't grow up particularly wealthy and has definitely worked her way up the ladder to be where she is today, but my stepdad is an IT leader in his field, so he brings in a lot of the household income. If it means anything, they are both Asian, Filipino specifically. One of the moments that really set me off was when I received money from my school because of FAFSA for college, around 3.2k. My mom immediately went into my bank account while I was at work and took out $600 without telling me, so her car payment wouldn't bounce. Keep in mind the money came in that morning and I was at work, so I wasn't expecting to look at my bank account. When I went to confront her, I asked her why she did that without consulting me first, and told me she forgot, and that anytime she asks me for money I always have something to say and questions to harbor her about, so she didn't end up telling me. She then went on to say that if my family needed help she would help them with no questions asked, and that I was selfish. My dad sided with her, saying I'm the most selfish person in the house and I'm saving up for a so-called future, as he says. This was a complete breach of my personal finances, and I found it extremely disrespectful, and I made the mistake of calling my parents greedy. It just doesn't make sense to me how you can take that large amount of money and forget to tell me. It's not like I wouldn't help them if they asked, but just taking it out without having a conversation with me and then telling me I'm selfish because I asked for the common decency of letting me know first felt terrible. Last month I gave my mom $1k hoping that she wouldn't ask me for more money, but it feels like I'm stuck in the same place I was before. Their reasoning is I live in the house rent-free. They started asking me to pay $300 in rent right after this conversation and told me to pay for my own phone, and that I'm now an adult. The atmosphere in the house has been really awkward since then, and my dad believes that I didn't earn any of that money and it's all taxpayers' money that I'm siphoning, and I should be giving back to the family when they both work part-time jobs. I see my friends' parents congratulating their kids and teaching them how to manage, and more importantly, grow their finances, but it feels like I'm eventually going to get sucked into just giving them every dime I have, because I'm going to keep hearing the same "you're so selfish" line. I don't even tell them my celebratory moments anymore, like finally building my PC or getting a big donation when I stream, because I know they'd be upset over it rather than tell me I'm proud of you. I guess I'm just frustrated and lost about how I should move forward and what I can do. It doesn't seem like I can reason with them or change their mind. Any advice would be deeply appreciated. Too long didn't read. Full-time college student with a part-time job and on unemployment, with parents who make me feel bad and call me selfish for not helping out, taking money out of my account and forgetting to tell me, etc. Open a new bank account at a different bank with your name only under a different email and password. Withdraw all your money except $50 from the account that you share with your mom and go deposit it in the new account. They are stealing from you. Change the direct deposit for your unemployment. Withdraw all the money from your joint account and open a new account at a different bank immediately. Personally, I think you are both right and you are both wrong. I agree that it's outrageous that your mom simply helped herself to your money in your account. That's not okay. I agree with the others that you should close that account and open another so that she no longer has access. It's something you will eventually need to do anyways. Unless you see yourself one day being married with kids and your mom still has access to your account, so now is as good a time as any to get that process started. That said, I think it's completely reasonable to ask your adult child to contribute financially to the household expenses in the form of rent or room and board. And yes, you should be paying for your own phone. I think you should agree to an amount that is reasonable per month. $300 per month is completely reasonable and probably only barely covers your food costs, for example. To me, the answer is in the middle. Yes, you should be contributing regularly, but no, your mom should not be helping herself to your money. My recommendation for the money part would be to open a new bank account, get all your direct deposit information moved to a new account that only has your name on it, then transfer any leftover funds to your new account. Tell the bank you want to close the account or take your name off it, leaving it in just your mom's name. As long as you've got your shit together and aren't getting them for money every day, you aren't being selfish by keeping them out of your finances. Do not give your parents any additional money. Go to the bank, withdraw your money and open an account in a completely different bank. Make sure no one knows what you're doing, otherwise they can transfer the money before you get to the bank. I, 29F, found out BF, 36M, was cheating after we bought a house together. We've been together for 3 years and just bought and moved into a house together in August. After we moved in, I got this gut feeling, and after doing my due diligence, learned that he's been cheating on me since the beginning of our GD relationship. Girls from Tinder, girls from work, old girls he went to high school with. Fuck me, right? I haven't confronted him yet. He's aggressive and borderline abusive when he's cornered with evidence, so I have no clue how this is going to play out. I'm afraid he'll take everything from me if I try to leave. Honestly, I'm afraid this is going to go very badly because he is not humble at all when he's wrong. What do I do with this brand new house? How do I handle this and keep myself safe? Do I let him have everything and cut my losses? I feel really fucking gross and stupid. I'm not sure how much longer I can play it off like nothing is bothering me. TL, Doctor, BF of 3 years has been cheating on me since we met. Found out after we bought a house together. I'm scared to confront him. You are not stupid, you are not gross. You have been manipulated by a bad man. Even without the cheating, you shouldn't be in a relationship with an abusive person. Take a deep breath and calm yourself. Collect your evidence and contact a lawyer to discuss your rights about the house. Do this quietly without him knowing and follow your lawyer's advice. Edit, and get an STD/STI test. Consult with an attorney before you do anything else. Do this ASAP to protect your asset, then dump him. From the way you describe him, you should have at least someone else present when you do for protection and a witness. Exact same thing happened to me about 6 years ago. I found out literally 6 weeks after we moved in. I forgave him for the sake of trying to make it work, but it completely tarnished the relationship and destroyed what we had, especially since he refused to admit cheating was a true issue. 4 dumbass years later, for reasons I still can't explain, I married him. 8 months later I divorced him, and he had to buy me out of the house. I came out financially okay, but I had literally wasted 6 years with someone who was a cheater and never once admitted it was an issue. I wound up renting a high school friend's old condo and reached out on social to comment on the weird coincidence. We are now happily over a year into the best relationship I've ever had. Just leave his bum ass. Men that love you would never cheat. Talk to an attorney about the sale. Tell him you need to visit some family and clear your head. Once you're out, don't go back. Let him know your attorney will contact. Don't sign anything new. If your name is on the sale and mortgage, you should be okay. Get a therapist and a lawyer. A therapist can help you build emotional and mental strength and strategize your withdrawal from this relationship, and a lawyer can help with your legal and financial separation from this person. Therapy is essential. There were red flags here, but something felt normal enough to keep going. That most likely means that you had poor expectations and broken boundaries that affect your relationships. Those are pretty easy to fix with therapy that will protect you from future issues where there are red flags. Source: I'm a survivor and now a counselor. My 20th boyfriend, 22 meters, doesn't seem bothered that we don't spend enough time together. I'm sick of this. I'll try to keep this short. My boyfriend of almost 2 years and I haven't been able to see each other as much. He works and has a very time-consuming hobby, and I'm attending med school. My life has changed a lot over the past few months. Just started med school actually, but it feels like he doesn't care to try to be a part of my new life. Whenever I tell him about the new exciting things I'm doing, he says he doesn't know what to say because I'm in a field that is so far removed from what he does. But at the same time he calls me almost daily just to rant about his job. Needless to say, I always try to ask him questions about it and try to give him advice. Seeing him only once a week has been also challenging to me. I truly believe he has time to see me more. For example, he could ask me to spend a weekend together, but that seems highly unlikely, given that he prefers to say goodbye to me before noon in the morning after we've had a date. Just don't know what to do, or if I should feel this lonely and sad. I'm longing and hoping to see him all week, and he just doesn't really care. He's just fine. Am I wrong to be upset? Any comments or advice? Too long, didn't read. Boyfriend doesn't make an effort with me anymore. Sorry, but to me it sounds like he's trying to spend more time with himself. You've been together since he was 20, and you 18. This really is quite young, though I'm sure it doesn't feel like it. He may not know that you want to spend more time with him, or that it negatively affects you when you spend so little time together. Definitely communication is key here. If he doesn't know what to ask about your job, coach him. Ultimately, if his behavior doesn't change, he's kinda showing you where his priorities are. But sometimes that's just what happens in relationships, with young people or old. Yup, that's what happens sometimes. I'm pretty realistic. Thank you for your input, really. Sounds selfish to me. I don't care if you were a traveling carnival worker, your partner should be interested in your life. Far removed? Inquire. Wow. Go find better and focus on yourself. Why would you choose traveling carnival worker as an example of a boring job? It sounds super interesting. Many people are going over the relationship part, but I want to highlight two things. 1. Your relationship is whatever you desire it to be, and it is above all things, it's voluntary. So if you're fundamentally incompatible in terms of communications needs, there's that. 2. I notice we're not vague about what you're doing, but we are vague about him. Med school, hard as it is, represents the pinnacle of what most kids aspire to. Meanwhile, he's complaining about his job. On the maybe it's workable side, you may want to consider the cognitive dissonance between him hating his job and you loving your work is on some level emotionally stressful to him. That's not to say you should drop it, but that he may be dealing with emotions 180% from where you are. Outside of drive, most other professions don't really start with respect built in, and he's about 10 years away from being listened to, if indeed he even has a career. So if it's perhaps this sort of whiplash, it may be he needs to address it either in the form of job hunting or working through it so your excitement isn't painful for him. Relationships are partnerships, and sometimes they simply find themselves on rocky ground due to circumstances. Wow, thanks. I was pretty vague in my post, but what you said makes so much sense for our situation. He's actually changed a lot after starting this job, exactly because he's doing very poorly in it. He's doing his best, but still, I'll definitely keep that in mind going forward.